Brian Winnekins. We are at World Dairy Expo, and thank you to Dairyland Equipment Services, also Commerce Sales and Service, Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board, Farm First Dairy Cooperative, AMPI, and also the Professional Dairy Producers of Wisconsin. I'm with Corey Geiger. He is the co-editor of We Need a Show, Expo's 50th anniversary book. And Corey, well, thank you for joining us. Pretty cool cover here, but tell us, this has been a process in the making for, 3 years?
3 years and 3 months, and it was an awesome experience. One of the first things we did, we got, if you were a mover and shaker 50 years ago, you're getting up there in years. So right away, we knew we had to capture those and get a hold of the people that were there in the beginning. And the image on this cover is actually the very first year of this show, when the Dane County Veterans Memorial Coliseum was built. The globe is on the picture. All these iconic images that you think of World Dairy Expo when you come here, we're actually all here in year one.
Now, for the research for this, a lot of the stuff for the Expo, they just had a list of champions. So how did you do the research?
We talked to a lot of people. We actually, our very first meeting, we got a group of people that were here in the beginning. Terry Howard, longtime superintendent. Ray Keel, who was a good friend of Alan Hetz, was here. Bob Walton, the longtime general manager of ABS Global. And the late Ardale Jones was actually in that room that day, and others, Art Nesbitt. And we later went to Joe Gilbert, who ran the trade show from 1967 to 92 as a volunteer. You think about all of how big this trade show is, and he did that for the good of the cause. And a lot of people did things for the good of cause in the early years because there wasn't a lot of money here. And now this show has just blossomed. What was interesting in that very early years, even in the 70s, there were people here from 35 countries as early as 71. But when the first show was actually called the World Food and Agricultural Exposition, they tried to get acts in like Dolly Parton. Well, they did get acts in like Dolly Parton and Johnny Cash. And as Ardale Jones said, a couple people came. They really wanted it for the cows, so they rebranded themselves in year 3. They named themselves World Dairy Expo. The founders, Alan Hetz, Norm Magnuson, Howard Vagley, and Gene Nelson, and 3 others, mortgaged their farms for $100,000 to keep the show afloat. They basically got their money back at the end without interest. And wow, yesterday we had some of the children there that are in their 60s and 70s, and there were just tears running down their eyes thinking about what this show has become and how proud their fathers would be of this. And we captured all that love and energy in this book, We Need a Show.
Talking with Corey Geiger, co-editor of We Need a Show, Expo's 50th anniversary commemorative book. A lot of pictures in the book. Were these donated as well from a lot of the founders and folks over the years?
Yep, just like the writing, all the images we're donating. A lot of them came from Hordes Dairymen. Agrographics was another major source. We had some other media outlets, and also Nina Litton, who takes pictures for World Dairy Expo. What was interesting, though, a lot of these were negatives from the early years. We have some images of 1970, the first Supreme Champion. Jim Baird's up on the catwalk of the Coliseum with the floodlights down. A picture of that. We got, obviously, the cover of Alan Hetz in front of the globe. Really interesting early years. It's almost mind-boggling. I wasn't here at those years, but they had a banquet with 2,000 people on the Coliseum floor. So instead of the Supreme Champion cows coming out on the Coliseum floor, they walked them around the seating area level 2. And I'm talking to some of the people that were there, and I'm like, that's not possible. Then we found the pictures that match the story. Those are in the book as well. They used to have square dances on the floor, 500 couples. They had silo singers. There are some really what you would call almost wacky pictures that are in this book that today you wouldn't even, what were they doing back then? But they were just trying to get people interested in this show, and obviously it's transformed. They had educational seminars as early as 1970, but they had so many different peripheral things, and now it's really cow show, trade show, and some great events here too.
The book is $25. It's available on the World Dairy Expo website, and the Corey and all of the authors did this for on their time as well. So you're not making a profit off of this. Any of the proceeds going back to Expo?
World Dairy Expo is a nonprofit, so it's going to go back to their nonprofit foundation to fund future shows.
It's an awesome book. You want to check it out. It's We Need a Show, Expo's 50th anniversary commemorative book. Corey, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's been my pleasure.
Corey Geiger, we're at World Dairy Expo. I'm Brian Winnekins.